Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a fantasy mystery thriller film, Serenity. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. Baker is a fishing boat captain, living a quiet and isolated life in a small island named Plymouth. While making his living by leading tours off the island during the peak seasons, he spends most of his time fishing and is obsessed with catching a giant yellowfin tuna someday in his life, which however, turns to be his biggest regret so far, for he has failed it so many times in the past years. Driven by his obsession, he even offends the tourists someday by grabbing their fishing rod to do the fishing himself, believing that he's going to catch his first long-dreamed tuna, but ends up losing the fishing rod to the sea. Due to Barker's bad reputation in service, many clients refuse to rent his boat anymore. As a result of the client loss, Barker can't afford his daily expenses. Fortunately, poor in cash though, he's pretty rich in hormones. He then figures out a shortcut to go through a hard time by appeasing some soul-lonely, but hormone-wanted housewives. The lonely Barker is haunted by pieces of memories of his lovely son, who however, seems to have parted away with the father long ago, and never meets him again after his living on the small island. Frustrated by another boring day without any harvest at sea, Barker visits a local bar and grabs some drinks. Right then, his ex-wife Karen tracks him down and begs him to save her and their young son from her new husband. It's revealed that Barker joined the military not long after the birth of their son. But their marriage didn't last long. He got divorced from Karen, who's later married to a new husband. After his retirement, Barker moved to live alone on the current island and never leaves there. Karen's new husband, powerful and rich though, turns to be violently abusive to Karen and her son. Karen tries to run away many times from his domestic violence, but to no success. Because of that, Karen offers Barker $10 million to murder her husband on the boat. She promises to arrange a fishing trip for her husband as the perfect opportunity for Barker to throw him overboard, which would eventually free herself and their lovely son, who she believes now is prone to autism due to the stepfather's violence, and tends to lock himself up all day long with computer game programming. While torn between his conscience and his desire to help Karen, Barker is hesitating, but later astonished to notice that people in the town have soon learned of the plan, and they all seem to wait for his final decision. Under the plan, the rich husband is later brought to the small island someday. Barker takes him out for a fishing tour at sea, while Karen waits anxiously on shore for his good news. But it turns out Barker makes the husband enjoy a good harvest day, rather than carry out any plan. Disappointed greatly by his return though, Karen has to hide her true feelings before her husband, who however, gets lit by the harvest, and thus books Barker for another fishing trip the next day. Later that night, the angry Karen visits Barker again for the same plan, and reminds him not to miss the last good chance tomorrow. But Barker seems still undecided. Believing that the best strategy to remove the hesitations of this hormone-rich man is to pump out all his hormones, Karen then invites him to play a violent, but fast hormone let-go game. 2 minutes later, as expected, Barker promises to execute the plan, while claiming that it's not for her, but their suffering son. Right after Karen's leaving, a four-eyed guy shows up suddenly, and tells Barker it's his best chance to catch his dream tuna tomorrow, rather than kill somebody. Frightened by the stranger, Barker then challenges the four-eyed guy with a knife, who however reveals to him that Plymouth Island is just a computer game created by his son, where Barker and other inhabitants of this island are merely artificial intelligence characters, and the game objective designed for him is to catch his long-dreamed tuna. The guy explains further that, while playing as a non-player character himself, he has to ensure every character follows the program plots and stop the killing, which is not supposed to happen in the original game. Finding it hard to trust his smelly bullshit, Barker bursts into anger and kicks the four-eyed guy out of his house. The next early morning, however, Barker awakens minutes earlier than the alarm time, but only finds that he can't get up and control his body until the alarm rings. In fear, he checks the map, but only to find a lonely island with nothing around. What's worse, he can't even remember how and since when he's come to the island. He's horrified when he recalls what's been told by the four-eyed guy last night, and begins to doubt whether to continue the plan, especially when learning that people are all trying to stop him from doing that. To impede his plan, they even attack the husband at the hotel and make him badly injured, attempting to make him physically unable to go out fishing. He later turns to challenge the bar manager, wondering why everybody wants to stop the murder. But to his surprise, the manager comes to a halt with no response at all, just like a dead computer program, causing him to finally realize that he's just an AI character in a virtual world. Devastated, Barker gets himself drunk at a beach. The four-eyed guy shows up and tries to convince him not to do the murder. The guy explains that his helpless son designs this fishing game as a way to memorize his father and also to escape the violence from his stepfather in reality. The son, however, seems unable to withstand the violence anymore, and thus changes the game objective for Barker from fishing to killing the stepfather instead. Knowing that he has to do something for his poor son, Barker decides to go along with the objective of killing the stepfather and rushes back to continue his plan. On the other side, while taking care of the injured husband, Karen gets him drunk with alcohol intentionally and drags him to the boat together with the coming Barker. Not long after that, as the three reach somewhere at the vast sea, Barker begins to throw a large number of baits into the seawater and sits the poor husband with a fishing rod. The two want to execute the plan subsequently, but to no success, due to a boy being sent there by the game program to stop their murder. However, when noticing a giant fish bites the hook, the two figure out a way to bypass the program limitation to kill the husband. They tie the heavily drunk husband to the fishing rod, causing him to be dragged off the boat by the violent fish, which is believed to be Barker's dreamed giant tuna. As Barker achieves his objective in the virtual world, in real life, however, the son, while sitting before the computer screen full of running program codes, stands up slowly and leaves the room with a knife in hand. Days later, the news reports an accident caused by the boy, who killed his heavily drunk stepfather to save the mother from ongoing domestic violence. It's also revealed that the boy's biological father served in the army and died very soon in Iraq. The boy is charged with murder, but is released into his mother's custody for justifiable defense, indicating that after bypassing the human world limitation, the boy also achieves his objective in real life. He later designs a new computer game in which he and his father are reunited. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Bye.